The proportional relationship between the number of sweaters a clothing store buys and sells, S, and the profit in dollars and cents that it makes off those sweaters can be represented by the equation P equals 27S. What is the constant of proportionality from the number of sweaters to the total profit in dollars and cents? So in the story, they tell you that P stands for profit. They also tell you that S stands for the number of sweaters. And in an equation, your constant of proportionality is always going to be on that side, in that spot of your equation. So your constant of proportionality is 27. And that's the profit in dollars per sweater. Okay, example 2. The proportional relationship between the gallons of gasoline used by Connor, G, and the total number of miles he drives, M, can be represented by the equation M equals 32.6 G. What is the constant of proportionality between the number of miles driven and the number of gallons used? So in the story, they tell you that M stands for the miles driven by Connor. They tell you that G stands for the gallons of gas used. And our COP is 32.6. Again, that's the spot where you'll find it in an equation. And that is 32.6 miles per gallon. Example 3, the proportional relationship between the number of songs Ella downloads, S, and the total cost in dollars and cents, C, can be represented by the equation C equals 0.66 S. How much does it cost to download a single song? So as the story tells us, C is the cost, S is the number of songs, and like always, our constant of proportionality is in that spot right there. That's our COP. And in order to figure out how much it costs to download a single song, we're going to replace S, which is the number of songs, with the number 1 because a single song is just one song. All right, so there we are. Replace it with the number 1, the letter S, replace that. And we're multiplying by 0.66. So 0.66 times 1 is 0.66, and it will cost us 66 cents. Example 4. The proportional relationship between the number of sweaters a clothing store buys and sells, S, and the profit in dollars and cents that it makes off those sweaters can be represented by the equation P is equal to 17S. What is the profit in dollars and cents that the store makes per sweater? So what that means is for one sweater, right? They want to know how much does it make for one sweater. So to figure out profit, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to multiply 17 times the amount of sweaters to figure out how much that is. So it'd be 17 per sweater. That's just 17 times 1. And your profit is going to be $17. Example 5. A company orders 27 boxed lunches from a deli for $194.40. Assume each boxed lunch is the same price. So if C represents the total cost in dollars and cents of the lunch order for any number B, a boxed lunch is ordered, write a proportional equation for C in terms of B that matches the context. Okay, so C is your cost. B is the number of boxed lunches. And typically when we're talking about the cost of something and you're going to put it in a table, everything can be put into a table, by the way. When there's no equation, that's the direction that we should go. Let's put it in a table to get the equation from that. And when money is involved, you want to put money on the right side. All right, so from the story, we saw that there was 27 boxed lunches, so I put 27 on the side with a B. Cost was $194.40, so I put that in the side with the cost. All right, to find the COP, we're going to do some division. The money divided by 27, and you're going to get 7.2. Now, 7.2 is your COP, okay? Now, to write an equation, we're going to use the same format as we always do. The variable on the right side, that goes by itself. So let's highlight that. Variable on the right side, we're going to put this by itself. So C equals 7.2, the constant of proportionality, COP goes next. And the variable on the left side, on the left side is going to go with the COP. And that's the equation we're looking for. All right, example 6, a 2.5-inch candle burns down in 10 hours. If B represents how much of the candle in inches is burned away at any time given an hour's T, write a proportional equation for B in terms of T that matches that context. All right, so B stands for inches burned away, and T stands for hours burning. We're going to use that to make our table. Those are the things that we're comparing in the table. Everything can be put into a table, and you can use the table to make your equation. All right, so one little trick to use right here. Whenever they say write an equation in terms of a letter, that letter is going to go on the right side of the table, on the left side of the table, left side, and that's where it went. Just a little heads up there. All right, so let's find our COP before we make our equation. And 2.5, that's the same as 2.5. So let's use 2.5. And we're going to divide 2.5 by 10. That's going to give us 0.25. That's our COP. Now our equation, we're going to take the variable on the right side. That goes by itself, as we do. So we're going to say I equals, so that's the inches tall that it is. It's going to equal our COP, 0.25, multiplied by the variable on the left side, t. So it's in terms of t. And that's the equation that they're looking for. All right, guys, I hope you can see this. I'm sure you probably can see the table, the words. I don't know. It's a toss-up. We'll see how it converts over into YouTube. Anyways, example 7. The table below shows Andre's earnings on the job. You have time and hours on the left side, that category, and then on the right side, we're comparing that to earnings in dollars, okay? Now, it says if E represents his total earnings in dollars and cents for any number of hours worked, H, write a proportional equation for E in terms of H that match the context. So notice how they say in terms of H. Just like I said, that is going to be on the left side of the table. And there it is. So let's just find our COP, and then we're going to write our equation. This guy's getting paid hourly, so you can choose any of these. It doesn't matter which ones you choose. I'm just going to go with the one on the top for simplicity. All right, so there's our COP. So now we're going to take earnings. We're going to use E. That's on the right side, so it goes by itself. E is equal to $29.80. 29.8 is 29.80. And then we're going to use H, because that's the variable on the other side for hours. And we're done. That's our equation. All right, just to clarify, earnings E is on the right side. That's why we put that by itself. And then on the other side, you got your COP. Variable on the left side was H, and that's why it's there. All right, again, I don't know if the compression is going to work too good, if these letters will be visible, but example 8, at least the table's visible, and we'll go from there. The table shows a proportional relationship between S and T. Write a proportional equation for T in terms of S. Use a whole number or a fraction, not a decimal, in your equation. So they don't want a decimal here. Since they want a fraction, I'm going to go with these numbers right there. You're going to get the same thing no matter what, but these will be the easiest to figure out the COP. So that's 20 over 160. I know 20 can fit inside of 160, and it can also fit inside of itself. So we're going to divide by 20 in the numerator and denominator. You're going to get 1 over 8. So 1/8, that's your COP. All right, now, remember, the variable on the right side goes by itself. So you got T is equal to 1/8 times the value for S, and that's the equation. Remember, the variable on the other side goes with the COP, and we are done. All right, so this one's called a challenge problem. The hint says subtract first to find the profit amount, and then find the COP for the sweaters versus the profit. Okay, so a store buys 15 sweaters for $105, sells them for $495. Okay, if P represents the total profit in dollars and cents when the store buys any number of sweaters, S, write a proportional equation for P in terms of S that match the context. So first we're going to have to find the profit. That's easy, just subtract. All right, so there you go. 495 minus 105, that's $390 in profit. But you got to divide that by the amount of sweaters that they sold. They sold 15 sweaters. So we're going to divide that by 15. And you can see how much profit they made for a single sweater. All right, so if I was to put this in a table, I would recommend you put the money on the right side. So your profit in dollars. And then on the other side, you have S, which stands for the number of sweaters. So basically, if I have 15 sweaters, that's 390, right? And then we did find our COP, that's 26. So for one sweater, that's $26. Anyways, to write our equation, the variable on the right side goes by itself. P is equal to, we know the COP is 26. And the other variable is S. So the variable on the left side goes right there. So that's your equation. to figure out your profit, multiply the amount of sweaters that you sell times 26, and then you got your profit number. There you go.